tonight I'm making a standing rib roast, which sounds intimidating, but is really a lot easier than it sounds. This is something that's definitely doable for a home cook. And I'm going to turn this around so y'all can see. Okay, so first of all, we have our rib roast, and it's still bone in. I don't know if y'all can see under there, but the bones are still in. And I'm also doing carrots and potatoes to go with it. The potatoes are pretty much done, so I just have a mixture of baby potatoes. We have the golden and the purple and the red potatoes. This gives a lot of nice color, a lot of visual appeal, and also some variety and flavor. Everything from buttery and sweet to nutty to mild. So this will be a great livened up potato dish from just your standard old russet potatoes. But I rinse those, and I really like rinsing potatoes in a pasta colander. I find that's a really easy way just to put everything in there, rinse it, and the water drains, and it's all really simple. After that, you can just dry the potatoes off. So that it's a shortcut that I use. And then I toss these potatoes with olive oil and sea salt, and I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of thyme to it as well. So I'm just going to shake a little bit of thyme at the top to add a little bit more flavor to the potatoes. All right, so those are all set. And then in my other baking dish that I'm going to put the roast in, I have some baby carrots, and those are already trimmed and washed and everything. You can usually find those in the refrigerated section at the grocery store, so that's a super easy vegetable and not a lot of prep work required there. And then I tossed these with olive oil and sea salt, and then I sprinkled a little bit of dried parsley over the top. This is Italian parsley. I used a bunch of fresh parsley the other week when I was cooking, and I had some left over, so I just left it in the refrigerator to dry out. So now I have a bunch of freshly dried parsley on hand. So, but if you just want to toss your veggies with salt, that's fine too. And then I also have a mixture of herbs and garlic here. So I have a fourth to half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and you can kind of do more or less cayenne depending on how spicy you like your food. I was going to do a teaspoon and a half of crushed rosemary, but I ran out of rosemary and opened up a fresh bottle. Well, I thought I opened up the fresh bottle of rosemary, but instead I opened up Herbs to Prevent. So I have about a teaspoon of rosemary in here and about a teaspoon of Herbs to Prevent. That's probably a happy mistake. I'll just get a few more flavors than what I was anticipating. The Herbs to Prevent still has rosemary in it, but also has thyme and sage and savory and marjoram. So all of those go great with meat. So that's not a problem. My little whoopsie is just fine. So, if you can use all rosemary if you'd like to. I also have 2 cloves of chopped and minced garlic. So basically, I peeled the 2 cloves of garlic. Remember, those are the little ones, like the little toes of garlic. And once I peeled those, I crushed them just by basically just pounding them with the flat edge of a chef's knife. I just put that over the garlic and then just bopped it. And that crushes the garlic, releases a lot of flavors. And then after that, I went ahead and minced it. So that just gives it more of a paste consistency, which is good since we're going to make this a rub to put over the meat. So I'm going to go ahead and make a paste out of this. I just have some extra virgin olive oil here. So we are going to add enough of this to make a loose paste to the herbs and garlic. So I'm going to start out with maybe about a tablespoon. You can just eyeball it, yeah. So we're stirring this up, and that looks really good. So it's not too thick. It's kind of a loose paste, so that's perfect. So we're going to rub this all over our roast, and then after that, I'm going to add, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I have 1 cup of reduced sodium chicken broth. I'm going to add this to the pan with our carrots. And then I'm going to add a cup of red wine. I had Pinot Noir on hand, but if you had a Cab on hand or Merlot, that would work fine too. And my main tip with cooking with wine is don't cook with anything that you wouldn't drink with, because if you don't like the flavors when you're drinking the wine, you're probably not going to like the flavors once it's in whatever dish you've cooked, because those flavors just intensify during the cooking process. All right, so that's all set. So we're going to rub our marinade paste over the rib roast, and then we're going to put it in our pan with the carrots, and we're going to roast that. Okay, get a little bit of help, please. All right, my cameraman's going to come help because I need both hands to do the rub. Flip this back around. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour this paste with the garlic and the herbs and the olive oil over the rib roast. And if you missed it, there's olive oil in here. We have some cayenne pepper. We have some rosemary. I messed up. Instead of doing all rosemary, there's some about half of it's herbs to Provence, but that's fine. The flavors are going to meld really nicely. And we also have a couple of cloves of crushed and minced garlic in here as well. So just rubbing that all over the roast, getting those nice flavors in there. All right. I'm doing that mostly over the top of the top, which is the fatty side, and then the sides. All right, and I'm going to rinse my hands real quick. All right, and now I'm going to sprinkle this with sea salt as well. Just freshly grind some sea salt over the roast. I'm going to turn it so I can get, all the sides. And the olive oil is making my hands a little bit slippery. All right. There we go. All right, so that's good. And now I'm going to place our rib roast on top of the carrots in here. So we had the carrots tossed in olive oil with a little bit of sea salt, and I had some dried parsley in there. I added a cup of the reduced sodium chicken broth and a cup of red wine. And so all that's going to cook together nicely. And I have the rib side or the bone side down and the fatty side up. That's going to help keep the moisture in while it's cooking and really give it a lot of flavor as well. So that's all set. I'm going to rinse my hands again real quick. Now I have preheated the oven to 450 degrees, so we're going to roast this for a short while on a high temperature and get this really nice and browned and a lot of good color and flavor to that. So I'm going to pop this in the oven. So I'm going to do this for about 25 minutes at 450. And then I'm going to lower the temperature and cook this at 350 for another hour, and then check it with an instant read digital thermometer to see how the temperature's reading. So for medium rare, you probably want to go for 125, for medium 130, and then pull it out of the oven to rest. It's going to keep cooking for a while it's resting, so that temperature is going to go up a little bit. When I lower the temperature down to 350, I'm also going to add our potatoes. So that's going to cook for an hour at 350 alongside with our roast. It's super simple. Everything's going to cook in the oven at the same time, and I'm only using 2 baking dishes. So that's minimal cleanup too. Instead of having to brown our roast on the stove and then worry about cooking it, we're doing all in one by cooking it at 2 different temperatures. And then after you pull it out of the oven, let it rest for 15-20 minutes before slicing it to keep all of those juices in there and to keep the roast really moist. So I will show y'all pictures later once this all comes out and tell y'all how everything turned out. You can also follow my videos now on YouTube under my channel Cooking with Jo, where you can subscribe and easily share those with friends if you're looking for past cooking ideas. I hope y'all enjoy this recipe and the holiday time with your families coming up. Bon appetit!